Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So yesterday, I decided to do something. I decided that I was going to watch the Lakers and Heat game, and it's been one of the few games that I've been able to watch this season due to time zone restrictions. I've gotten into that in the past. I'm not going to get into this video because it's really irrelevant. But anyway, as I was watching the game, at one point, I believe it was in the first half, the Lakers were down 20 points, right? And as I was watching the game, it actually started slowly. First, it got down by 10 points, and then it just the deficit just kept on growing. And I was watching the game, I was saying to myself, I'm like, is it that we're getting to the point where we expect this team to lose almost half of the time? Is this the point we're getting to? Because they had beaten the Orlando Magic. But whenever they play a good team, it's like you kind of just expect it, like you're just waiting for it to happen. And I said to myself that not only is this not a good team, but they're a really bad team on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, the Miami Heat were picking them apart with back cuts and all this. And as I was watching this stuff, I was just saying to myself, I mean, this thing is a disaster. And every time the camera panned to the coach, Frank Vogel, you could see the despair and kind of like desperation on his face, right? Because it seems as if everyone, they're going to point the finger at him as a coach. Unfortunately, that's just the way it works, especially in the NBA. When a team starts to underperform, usually the head coach is the first one to go before you start looking to move players. And it just seems to me at this point that Frank Vogel will most likely be fired in the coming days. I think that's what's going to happen because this team has a tough stretch. They have a very difficult schedule to close out this season. And if you remember, in the beginning of the season, they had one of the easiest, or if not the easiest schedule to start off the season with. I think their first 20 games, I think 14 or 15 of those games were at home, right? They had a very easy schedule to start off the season. And now they're in a situation in which, if I look at the Lakers' current record, if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers are a 500 ball club. If I look at their record right now, yes, the Lakers have they're below 500. They're 23-24. So listen, this team is having a disastrous, they're having a disastrous season. And according to a report that we're getting from CBS Sports, it looks like the head coach, however, Frank Vogel, could be given a bit of a grace period. Right? He could be given a grace period. And I want to get into this article because the grace period is contingent on what happens when Anthony Davis returns. So let me just get into the article here quickly. The article starts off with the headlines: Lakers fall below 500 again, and Frank Vogel's job likely depends on Anthony Davis' return to save the day. It continues. On a night when the Kansas City Chiefs pulled off one of the most improbable comebacks in sports history in the divisional round one NFL playoffs, you're forgiven if you weren't paying attention to the Los Angeles Lakers on a random Sunday night in January, nearly pulling off a desperate rally of their own. Luckily for you, we're here to keep you informed on the stuff that really matters, like the Lakers' miserable season continuing to circle the drain after a 113-107 defeat in Miami, down by 23 with just over 9 minutes remaining in the game, and with a 5 minutes to go, the Lakers cut Miami's lead to 5 on LeBron's three-point play at the 2:09 mark, but they never got closer than that. Now they're back to under 500 at 23-24. The Lakers, who have been hovering around the 500 line since before Christmas, sit in the Western Conference 8th spot, 3 games back in the loss column of the play-in. Russell Westbrook finished with 24 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds on 9 of 15 shooting, but Carmelo Anthony was the only Laker on the floor in double figures. It continues on. Hopefully, for Frank Vogel's sake, Anthony Davis, who's reportedly close to returning, can get back on the floor and make an immediate difference, because right now, that is the ace up the Lakers' sleeve. You can't hit full panic mode until AD is back, even if he's having a kind of ho-hum season before the injury. LeBron cannot possibly be asked to do anything more. An article continues on. Basically, what they're saying is that they're going to hold out hope until Anthony Davis returns. Now, there are a few things I want to say, right? This, again, to me, I just think is the same old line, right? It's the same old line. I think this is just another repeat of what's been happening all season long. Initially, when they had Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis has played 27 games for the Lakers this season. Initially, it was, okay, let's wait till LeBron comes back. The Lakers were floundering then. Let's wait till LeBron comes back. And now they have LeBron and Anthony and Russell Westbrook, 2 All-Stars, 2 top 75 players, and LeBron is certainly playing like that. And now the thing is, let's wait for Anthony Davis. Well, if you're waiting for Anthony Davis, if you're telling me that Anthony Davis is going to be the saving grace of this team that already has 2 top 75 players, 2 All-Stars, more than most teams in the NBA, then you're in a world of trouble. Because the fact of the matter is this: when Anthony Davis was there, he wasn't really a difference maker, right? His numbers are all of it. I mean, yes, his production as far as scoring went up by 2 points this season. His field goal percentage went up, but his 3-point percentage, I want you guys to mull this over for a second. Anthony Davis was shooting 18% from the 3-point line when he was playing. He was shooting 73% from the free throw line. Yes, he was getting you 9.9 rebounds, 2.9 assists, only 2 turnovers, 1.2 steals, and 2 blocks per game. But I don't really think he was a difference maker. And I don't think he's going to be make that much of a difference when he returns. Unless you're telling me that you somehow believe that when Anthony Davis comes back, the Lakers are going to be from being a bottom team in the Western Conference, now that they are the number 8 seed in the Western Conference, to all of a sudden he's going to propel them to being one of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference. If you're looking at the Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz, and then the Lakers, basically them being able to supplant the Dallas Mavericks, then have at it, right? If you believe that that's the premium that Anthony Davis is going to give to this team, then have at it. But for me personally, I don't see any of that happening, because you know why? This team is a terribly constructed team. They were constructed. I mean, when you look at the roster and you look at the composition of players that they have, you're just sitting there scratching your head like, who put this entire thing together? But now, I think we're going to get to the point. Even after Anthony Davis returns and this team continues to flounder, I don't think he's going to make them a top team in the NBA. Not at all. I think you're going to really have to start paying attention to management and the people that put this team together. And it's one of the reasons why Pat Riley, Mr. Pat Riley, no nonsense Pat Riley, didn't allow LeBron and his friends to basically take over the Miami Heat. He said, wait a minute, we're going to draw the lines here. You guys are the players. Handle that. You can work with the coaching, but you're not going to do the job of management. You're not going to be making any recommendations for us. That's just not going to happen, right? We're going to have a demarcation of power on this in this organization, and that's the way the ship is going to be ran. But now when you have a situation in which the Lakers, who have a pedigree of winning, the Lakers already have 15 NBA championships before LeBron James walked into the door. You would like to think that they knew what the hell they were doing. Now, obviously, they had a number of years when they were floundering. You had the situation with Jeannie Buss and her brother. There was a lot of dissension within that organization. It was a mess, right? But now what has happened is that, yes, LeBron has come in. His guys have come in. You have a lot of clutch clients on the Lakers roster. But I don't think if the Lakers were doing their due diligence from a managerial standpoint, there's no reasoning, or there's no good reason for this team to have signed players like Dwight Howard and Russell Westbrook and Carmelo. And these guys are past their prime. I mean, Russell Westbrook is not. But why would you sign Russell Westbrook had it not been the fact that him and LeBron James had a relationship? Apart from that, what would make you sign him? So LeBron and his team do have some culpability here. They do. Because there's no good reason to sign Russell Westbrook. Why would you sign him? Go look at his history. People are there like, oh my God, pulling out their hair. Oh, Russell Westbrook is a turnover machine. He's been a turnover machine. Since 2015, he's averaged at least 4 turnovers a game for those previous seasons. So I don't see what the big surprise is. And to me, somebody has to answer for it. Somebody needs to. Too many people escaping through, right? It's going to get to the point where we have to start looking at the people that put this mess together. One of them being Rob Pelinka, the other one being LeBron James. There's no way you're going to tell me that the Lakers are going to be making these moves without consulting their best player. There's no way you're going to tell me that. But at this point, it's time for them to start answering some of these questions. It's time for some of these reporters to start asking. And maybe some of these reporters are a little bit worried. Maybe if you ask the wrong question, you're going to get, you never know. You never know. People are powerful within these industries. So you never know. But to me, I think this entire thing is a mess. And, I don't see the way forward. Because even if they get Anthony Davis back, I don't think they're going to go from being a middle of the pack defensive team to one of the top 3 teams in as far as defensive rating, like they were the previous 2 seasons, right? How do you expect this team to be better on the defensive side of the floor? How do you expect them to be any good when you have a bunch of old people out there? No disrespect, but they're all old players, and you expect the coach to work some type of magic? What are we talking about here? So to me, I think this entire thing is a mess. Yesterday's games proved it. The only reason they were able to come back in that game is because the Miami Heat could not execute going down towards the end of the game. They couldn't make shots. If that was a better team, they would have probably beat them by 15, 20 points, right? It's just that the Miami Heat couldn't hit shots late in that game. So to me, I think the entire thing is a disaster. And I think this is rock bottom. I don't think Anthony Davis is going to make any difference whatsoever because he didn't make a difference when he was there. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this situation. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments on the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.